blessed day. Amen. Even though we know what happened this week, storms keep on passing. It's still a blessing. We still come out again to do what we've been doing, serving the Lord. But before I begin in our lesson, I want to kind of get you a little warm up in your mind, see what's going on. You ever notice how they mock stuff? When I'm talking about, this is supposed to be the resurrection. But you know they mock Easter with a record. I've been trying to figure that out. How can you associate Christ with record? What's the most important thing we've been talking about all the time? They say it's the record. Did you get the Easter basket? Did you get the Easter eggs? And I've been studying and trying to find a reason for that. Have you found a reason? I just want to see what my Bible said. I could never figure that out. So what are we supposed to be talking about? Christ, when he died and he rose. But what do they talk about? Getting that pretty Easter basket. Getting those Easter eggs. Now, as I read about it, when he came into Jerusalem, he came in on a donkey. Didn't ride a rabbit. Okay, sure. He came in on a donkey. Okay. Then, as I continue to read, when they had the Last Supper, he didn't have a rabbit. So I'm trying to figure out, how does a rabbit go with Christ? It doesn't go with Christ. But what this is a market thing. You know, it's sad. We're supposed to be talking about Christ, how he died and he rose, but yet all they talking about rabbit. And then, you know, I went just a little further. I thought about Thanksgiving. When the pilgrims, somebody laughed at that. You're supposed to be giving Thanksgiving, and what do they talk about? The turkey. Mocking the turkey. Have you ever thought about how they do things? And then I went just a little further. I thought about Christmas. What do they do for Christmas? They market the Santa Claus in the dark. Now, you tell me, how does all of that relate to Christ? What it is that this is a market thing. It's not about Christ. They sell some of us, and we've been going along with that. We do that. We're getting ready to get in the Easter basket. Today, we've been talking about this for 2 weeks, coming up to 3 weeks. This is the third week of this thing here. We're dealing with Matthew. And Matthew gives us 3 lessons about what we know today. Last week was the Palm Sunday, 7 days before Christ was crucified in the road. Here's the day that we've been leading up to, the day that he rose, and I haven't seen nothing about an Easter basket. I haven't seen nothing about an egg. When they put him in a tomb, I haven't read anything about it, put an egg in the tomb with him. Did you? Now, if I'm wrong, just let me know. I haven't seen it. What is that? Oh, she said, but I just want to make it some facts that I haven't seen that. So what I'm saying is that everything is about what they can say. And what do we do as a Christian? We buy into what they said. Nothing about Christ. Everything we talk about should have been that he died for our sin. But what we talk about is getting that pretty dress and that pretty hair and getting ready for today. Well, then we say a Good Friday. What I look at, every day is good that I'm alive. So I don't have to wait till Friday to say a Good Friday, because I had a good Monday, I had a good Tuesday, I had a good Wednesday, I had a good Thursday, I had a good Saturday, I had a good Sunday. So why have to wait to say, woo, Good Friday? Just think about the thing that we think about, y'all. The mindset, how we go. But then, let's get, come on, Dean. Okay.
And everything they want to put in, they want the world, they agree with it. And that's another bad money for them. They trying to sell something back. And not problem.
Nah.
He said he's a jealous God.
Jealous God. Put what? Nothing before him. But what do? We put the Easter egg before him. We go out and hide the Easter egg. We color the Easter egg. I didn't see nowhere in the Bible when Christ they put him in the tomb, there was no color eggs there. I didn't see nowhere when he came in Jerusalem, there was no rabbit there. Now, maybe you saw that. But if you did, tell me so I can go back and read that scripture. But I didn't see that. Oh. All right. They got a lamb in it. So, you know, we got everything. And what do? We buy into that. And we are what? The light of the world. Now, what does it say? We are in the world, But we don't have to be of this world. But can you tell the difference? No, because we do the same thing they do. And now as I get into this lesson, I thought that was good, folks. Throw it out so you all come right there. Since we talked about last week with Jesus John, now we know that he had this last supper with his disciples. And he told them he wouldn't see him again until he get into the Father's house. And then he also told them about this man that's going to betray him. We talked about there was nobody but old Judas who betrayed him. Now think about it. Christ knew all this all the time. And he still washed that old man's feet. We talked about washing his feet. Christ did that. Now today, we begin to get into this thing here, what we've been leading up to for 3 weeks, coming to the day that he rose. In Matthew, when you read the 4 gospel writers, they say, and some of them just a little different, some of them add something to it, but they all say the same thing. What does they say? That he rose. They all said that he died. They all said that he rose. Now here's one more thing I want to get into. They always said he rose on that 3rd day. But then, when I thought about that, and I read what Matthew said, now this is Matthew. Matthew said that he stayed in the tomb 3 nights, and he stayed 3 days. Now, have you ever thought about how can you get 3 nights, 3 days, from Friday to Sunday? I know some smart people in there. Miss Lake, she's a mad person. She's smart. So can somebody tell me that you can't get that out? She can't figure it out. But what do? We buy into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And he rose. Don't we get it all the time? But what's the catch on that? The catch on that, he couldn't die on a Friday in order to get 3 nights. That means when did he die? He died that Thursday. But how many people do you hear ever tell you that? They always talk about what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it said, Matthew said, it said just like Jonah stayed in the belly of the whale, how many? 3 days and how many nights? 3 nights. But now I read that I saw it 9 times. While the other writer said that, but Matthew kind of go there 10 times. He said that he stayed in the 3 nights, 3 days in the tomb. Now, what I read about is that when you go and read about what they do, their time was not like our time. Their night starts at 6 o'clock. Our start was at 12. Their days are not like ours. Their nights are different. So when you look at the 3 things, what happened there, they took him out on Thursday. He stayed on that cross. Did he stay there? From 6 to the 9th hour. And then after that 9th hour, they had to take him down. Why did they have to take him down during that time? Because that was a custom of the law. Nobody could stay on the cross after sundown, which means sundown was a different day. Crucified on Thursday. Thursday night was Friday. He stayed there all night that Thursday night. He stayed there all night that Friday night. Is that 2 nights? He stayed all night that Saturday. Is that 3 nights? He stayed all that Thursday. Is that 1? He stayed all that Saturday, Friday. Is that 2? He stayed all that Saturday. Is that 3? But what's the catch up? They said, when did he arrive? He rose early. Nobody knows when the early was. All they know is what? Early. So you begin to think about what they said. He said, well, nobody knew. And what we talk about and what the Bible says, and we talk about Bible and talk about truth. We need to know the truth. And the truth said he stayed there what? 3 nights and 3 days. Now the reason they said that, the Jews said that, because when Christ created the earth, the heaven and earth, what it did? It said in the evening came first. Didn't it say evening? And then he said what? Day. So what did they say? Evening and then day. What did we say? Day and then evening. But if we go about what they said, evening and first. Even in the beginning, he said, he saw the evening and he came first. So that's what they went by. But we got everything. What we do, we twist stuff around. So when you're talking Bible and think about it, what the word said, this is what the word said here. And as we get into the word said, we're going to see a number that's going to appear so many times. That's going to be the number 3. Have you noticed that 3 going to come up somewhere? But before we get into that 3, let's look what that subject says. eternal hope. Now, what's eternal hope? What's that? Forever. Eternal hope means something that's going to last forever. And the best hope you can get is have hope in what? Christ. What's that hope? That someday that I'm preparing myself to be with the Lord. What is that? That is hope. And you know, we have some kind of hope. What hope do we have? Well, the first hope, I hope one day when I get grown, I'll be getting a new house. Don't you hope? Yeah. Here's the hope. Well, I hope one day when I get grown, I'll find me a nice wife. Yeah. Hope. Don't you hope? Yeah. Well, I hope someday when I get, somebody say something. They don't listen. Oh, why is there hope but why? Okay. Thanks, Brian. That's good. I hope someday I get me a pretty car. Is that right? Yeah. All right, then starters. I hope someday I get my high school loan. Hope. Yeah. Hope. I hope I get my, we hope for so many things. This good hope. But what the eternal hope? The eternal hope means more hope than any hope that we got. That's the hope that we want to be with Christ. That we live down here all our life. We live in what? Hope. We live in hope. We hope that someday that we'll get to be with Christ and His Father. Don't you hope that? Yeah. All those other hope really doesn't mean anything. Because if you can have all those other hope and miss the big hope, where are you going? Hell, your eyes. So you don't want those hopes to put over the great hope. And the great hope is that when you hope that you have the golden shoes, that crown, that robe, that's the hope that we all want. Those other hopes we are taking. But this is the hope that you really need. When you look at that subject where I say eternal hope, like she said, that's something that's going to what? Last forever. Some marriage don't last forever. Some of your lovers don't last forever. And the love between your children, some of them don't last forever. So but we want something that's going to last forever, and that's the eternal hope. Now, as we begin to get in the first topic we say now, have you noticed, again, I like this so well. We have 3 topics. We've been talking about 3, and we say that's the Father, Son, and the what? Holy Ghost. After we've been there for 3 weeks, I like that because all about 3. And then I thought about when he went out to pray, how many times did he pray and they would sleep on it? 3 times. 3 times. Look at that 3. All those about the 3. And then they said the 3 nights and 3 days. Another 3. And here we go with the 3 topics. And what Sunday is this? What's the third Sunday? 3. So we got 3 to deal with. You notice that? I try to look at them 3s that we got. So here we go. It's safe. The arrival. Now look where we at. We have left 2 weeks ago to get right here. The arrival. Who is on his way? We know he came in on a donkey. We know they crucified him. And what we know now, that he stayed there. But now he's going to come back again because it said the arrival. And really, as we begin to look into that arrival, what does it tell us, Rita, on number 1?
In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre.
End of the Sabbath. Where was the end of that Sabbath day was? That was that Saturday. The end of the Sabbath. Here comes the Mary. I like it. We got the 2 Marys. One, Mary Magdalene, and the other, we saw the other Mary. Now, when you think about Mary Magdalene, what do you know about Mary Magdalene? What happened that day? Talk to me. She had 7 demons in her. Christ removed those demons out of her. When he did that, what happened? She became one of Christ's wife. Look what happened. Who was she? She was a woman. This title back there, she was a woman. Was a woman when he did that. Mary. Now, when you look at another Mary, when you see this Mary right here, Mary stayed right there with Christ. Isn't that somehow they stayed there? What happened? The women stayed there. The Tracy said, and then they ran. So look at it. They thought it was over with. That's the men. But the women, they stayed right there. Now, this other Mary we talking about, this is the Mary of James. Now, who was James? They call him James the Less, because you know there was two disciples there with named James. They call him James the Less. So this was his mother, James and Joseph. So you had the two Marys right there. Now, early this morning, the Saturday, they got there. Now, the next thing was bumped down on people say that when they left, they saw what had happened. Those women was right there with him. Now, let's go back. Those two women there, the other three, writer said there was three women there. But since we talking about Matthew, we're going to say with the two women. Now, those two women stayed there and had one disciple stay there. Who was that disciple stay there?
All of them was there.
One of them. Who written the book of Revelation, folks? John. John was the only one that stayed there. What happened to the rest of them? They ran. Why did they run? They were scared. Why were they scared? Because they knew what's going to happen to them. And not only were they scared, they even, one of them, know what he do? He denied it. Who denied him? Oh, Peter. Oh, Peter. Peter denied him. What happened? Because they ran, they were scared. But the women, they stayed right there with him. But you look at this subject, think about what's going on here. Now, this is the first thing. Now, when he said about those women, they saw what happened. They only went to the tomb. And they began to think about that big old rock. That's hard to move. How are we going to move that rock? Because what happened here? Read that nation, and I'll come back to you. What it say on the nation?
And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it.
They was on their way. In their mind, they was wondering how they going to move this to. But what happened? An earthquake had already came, and what happened? Moved a stone, and who was sitting there? An angel was sitting there. So what it said, that God gave the angel the power to move that stone. But I'm beginning to think about, you know, angels always brought good news, and they brought some bad news. This time, this angel sitting there with some good news there. Sitting there with good news to these people. They had no idea that nobody gonna be there. They saw it, they knew that God was gonna be there, but they want to get into the tomb. Why did they want to get into the tomb? To knock his body. Didn't they knock his body at the beginning? They didn't have time to knock his body because they had to get him in the grave before what time? 6 o'clock. Nobody would be on the cross on a Saturday, so they had to put him in the grave before 6 o'clock. So what they did, they are not his body, but what they did, they went back to not his body. Now, if you notice, there was no embalming back then. So they went to knock Jesus' body back there then. But when they, on their way, when they were thinking about what went on, look who was sitting there, an angel. Now, if you know, pretty to see. There wasn't nothing pretty to see at that time. So everybody knew if an angel comes, there was some kind of message. And it was a message to told them, read what that nation says.
His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment was white as snow.
Can you imagine that angel sitting there and his clothes, the garment looked like light? Think about the lightning you heard this morning, how it's flashing. And here you sit right there. Now, you think about that angel sitting there, it's flashing there, and they come to meet him, and look who meet him. That angel right there. Their mind was already thinking about how we gonna move it. And when they got there, the storm was already moved away. And the next part will tell about that. So what I like about that is that the plan was already there. And who was the plan? Who decided they want Jesus to smell with the windows? And let's go back to Mary Magdalene. What did Mary Magdalene do? When they were eating in Bethany, who came to Jesus with this good smelling iron? Mary and Judas said. What Judas said? That's cost too much, less what? Less sell it. And what we do, we can make some money. That's what he said. That's what he said. But that was what they went on the thing. So who that? Mary. Always put up. And what did Jesus tell them? Leave alone. Her name's always going to be wet in the word. Her name is always going to be written down. Why? Because she's already preparing him. So he's already got prepared. She prepared what? From his feet, head down. She put that. Look at it. He was already knew what's going to happen. He was telling them all. But what was there? They were too blind to see what was going on. But now, the angel tells them, don't worry about it. And there's a question. Anybody else have something to say right there? So this is the arrival. Now, from the arrival, you have a question. The question says, the women never expect what they discover when they arrive at the tomb. Do you think they realized that they were used by God as eyewitnesses of a miracle? Do you think God has... you notice back in the day in the Bible, women had no word. They didn't like what I said. They didn't like what women said. But what happened now? Christ used these women to be what? The witness for him. Witness for him. That was right there. Then the second part of that portion there, I give them this time machine. But the second part says, sure, a time when you have shown up for one purpose, only to end up being used by God for an altogether different and more significant task. Have you ever had one thing in mind to do, or something gonna happen, then you got there, the plan changed? Anybody ever had something like that? You had good intention of doing something, you had good intention of doing something with God, but what happened would make some change like that? Satan, what does Satan do? He always out here doing his own thing, trying to see who he can get. So your plans are good plans, but Satan come in and kind of interfere with your plan. Sometimes you go to your really good. You remember what Miss Bang said? You go to your job really good, and who steps in? Satan. How does he step in? Well, let's see. You go there dressed kind of nice, but the first thing I tell you, you're not where that's worth. Who clothes out? Good. And then what do? When they tell you that, Satan come in on you, what do you say? You didn't buy, did you? Don't we say something like that? These are my clothes. So you have good intention. He said you're going to tell him a piece of your mind. Oh, you trying to do it just look nice, but there they go. You know, we have people that always interfere because Satan is always out here trying to find who he can devour. He never stops. Just like Christ, Satan never stops. You be doing good, and somebody call you. I get it all the time. When my call me, I don't say things, but I really slam the phone down. How you call me? I'm sure you get like that. Be for real. I'm out on somebody doing stuff like that. When they call me, I don't hang up quick. Sometimes I tell them, don't call me no more. Then they turn around and call you another number. My intention is good, but they just get on the nerves sometimes. Now here we go. So this actually show you like nerves. All right. The next one says the announcement. First, we got the ride. Now we have the announcement. Reader, give us 45.
And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the women, fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus, which was crucified.
Now, if you look here, it says the keepers. Now, what had happened? They had been and told them, you remember when Christ told them, if you kill me, in 3 days I'll build up the kingdom. He said, it took us 47 years, Christ, to build this kingdom up. And you tell me in 3 days, you're going to tear it down? Yes. Now, what was he talking about? Was he talking about a kingdom there? But what was he talking about? He was talking about his life, which is the earthly kingdom, not that kingdom they talking about. They thought he talking about this tabernacle like him. But he was telling them that. So what did they do? They had plot against him. So they know that. And then, when he told like that, when he said, the keepers shake, they said, those Roman people, those were some terrible guys. Those were some men, they said. So what you do, you post somebody there so they won't get them out. Why? Because if they get them out, they would say, Jesus, he rose. This is what they said. He rose. So what he told, Pilate told them, okay, you post some Roman soldiers there. Make sure they'll be around you like that. Post them like that so they won't get them out. Because old Pilate in the beginning, he didn't want to do it. But then after it got on him, he decided to do it because he put it on them, but it didn't work. So he said, okay, Hooked them like that. So if they get him out the grave, you know that. But what happened? After that happened, when they told them to fear not, and then it said the angel answered and said unto them, okay, here, I like that. It said, women, fear not. So the women went there, and the angel there, and the angel told them, don't be scared. Now, what was on their mind? They saw the angel sitting there. Somebody had stolen. The angel told them, the women thought somebody had stolen. The angel told them, don't be afraid, because they know that he's supposed to be there, because they saw when they put him in there, how they surrounded him there, and know he can get out of there. But here it is, the angel tell them, don't be afraid. Fear not.
Yeah.
They use that word, fear not.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what happened. And read it when he said that. What's the next thing he said?
He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come see the place where the Lord lay.
Go ahead, do something.
Okay. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see.
He is. He has risen. What did Christ told them all the time? They didn't understand what he kept telling them. For 3 days, that I'm going to rise what? I'm going to rise again. Even those two there forgot what he had told them. They were scared, and then they become happy. What was the scared part? The scared part is somebody had stolen Christ's life. The happy part was when the angel told them that he is no longer here. He has risen, just like he said. Put him in the tomb for how many days? 3 days, 3 nights, and 3 nights, and 3 days. And what he gonna do? He gonna rise again. He even told his disciples the same thing. Here you go right here. They told him, don't worry about it, God. What he said, he did. And then he told them, this is the angel talk. I want you to go quickly. After he calmed them down, he told them, I want you to go quickly and find who did he find in? Find the disciples. Now, think about it. When you think about what it says, disciples there, now all the men, they got to run. They got to run. Road land. It was 11 miles. 11 miles from Galilee to Jerusalem. When they heard what happened, they left. They hid because they didn't want nowhere around. But then, you remember what? Something happened when he told them. On this road, we're going to get to the next part. This angel told them, don't worry about it. To go tell those disciples. Who were the first 2 disciples that they met? Peter and who? Peter and John were the first 2. All the rest of them somewhere hid. Who was here? Men. Who was with Christ? The men. Who with Christ? The women too. But what happened? The men ran ahead. Now, I thought we were supposed to be ahead of something. They were the head runner. I like that. They were the head runner. They ran off and left everybody because they didn't want to be no part of what would happen. What do you think? They saw. A couple of them saw what would happen to them, how they whipped him. They didn't want to be no part of that, so they ran ahead. Remember how Peter denied him when that child came up to Peter, and Peter got so good that Peter began to cuss him. He cussed him. No, I wasn't. But what did Christ tell him in the Last Supper? He told him what he gonna do. He gonna deny him 100 times. What's the number? 3. What we were talking about this morning? 3. So here we go. Anybody else have something to say? I kind of like it, but y'all. All right. Here's one. Now, the question says, the women's task was to deliver a message concerning the good news of the resurrection. There is honor in every task that God gives us. What is the problem when it comes to doing what the Lord had asked for us? Why do we have to choose that? Lord tell you to do something, what are you supposed to do? Do. When he told the women to go, what did the women do? They went. Last 2 weeks, we said all the time that Christ told the disciples to do something, they didn't question. All other time, they had nothing in mind. Why? But when he told them to go get the donkey, what did they do? When he told them to go prepare a place, what did they do? They went to prepare a place. Now he tells the women, good listeners. I'll give to the women, y'all some good listeners. Y'all some good listeners, and y'all some good doers. So that's good. That's really good. So you don't get credit this morning for the good you out there. That's all I'm gonna get. No, I'm gonna get women credit. I can't do that. But y'all good, man. Look what happened right here. The women went and did exactly what he told them to do. tell the disciples. Now, on the next part, since what we got here, we just have the resurrection part of it. Now here comes the action part of it. We say, think about what happened. They prepared him. Now we're getting ready for the action part of it. Now the action part is going to be something really tough here. The action part, you know, action part is a verb. That's when you use action. Here comes the action part. What is going to be the action part of this interview? When you do what? When you get up, that's going to be the action. They laid it down, but he's going to get up. So that's the action part of it. Now, when we get into the action part, that was about the action.
And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run to bring his disciples word.
On the other side, we just read, they had fear, joy. The fear that somebody had stolen Christ. The great joy, the angel told him what? He had risen else, he said. That was a great joy because they knew if Christ had risen, he done everything that he said. That was joy in their heart. When do you have joy in your heart, Christ? All the time. You should have all the time. Because all the time he is still good. He is good yesterday, wasn't he? I know he is good today. He is good tomorrow. So you need to have what in your heart all the time? Joy. What is joy? Joy is happiness. I've never seen nobody have joy frown on their face. I have. Maybe you have. But every time I see somebody with joy, joy comes with a smile. That's happiness. So they had happiness not only on their face, but they had it in their heart. Because they know that they're saved, that he came, that he had died, he will rise with them. Remember what they thought when he came in on that donkey. They thought he'd come in to save them from who? Caesar. But he didn't come to save them. He come to save their soul. So they were expecting one thing, and Christ was telling them a whole different thing. So what is telling us to have? We ought to have joy even when the storm of life is raging. You need to have joy in your heart. Because just like this week, when that tornado of storm came somewhere in somebody's house, it didn't mess with my house, it didn't mess with yours. So that's joy right there. Because it could have been us, but it didn't. So that's good joy. Whenever you talk about Christ, you ought to speak with joy. All right? Anybody else have something to say about that joy? When I came to the door this morning, what should you have? You should have joy. Because somebody is not even able to walk in that door this morning. But you came in that door this morning. Somebody not even able to bow their head. I said people bow their head. But you able to bow your head. So what is that? That's that joy. Where do you get that joy from? You get it from God. So if you get that joy from God, you ought to let somebody else know how good that joy is. Because you got it in your heart. When you got it in your heart, that joy can't nobody take it away from you. I don't like that part right there. All right? Read, go ahead.
And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, all hail. And they came and held him by the feet and worshipped him.
Look what happened. On their way. And then they met him. And what's the word they used? That word said, all hail. That word has been used before. So that was the key word to let them know who was that. That was Jesus. Remember, on the other side, it was the angels that's what? Go tell the disciples that Jesus has risen. On this side right here, who is talking? This is Jesus telling them. Hey, you know what? Talk to us, bro. I was dead, but what? Don't you see me right now? I'm alive. Didn't I tell you? In 3 days, what's going to happen? I'm going to ride. And look at me. I'm here. Oh, go ahead. I like that. I'm here. He did what? Just what he said. He said in 3 days and 3 nights, I'm going to rise again. And what happened about him? He rose again. He's telling them, look at me, Mary. The two Marys. He didn't tell the boys, because the boys were gone. He told the two Marys, look at me, Mary. It's me. What is that? It's me, oh Lord. That's what he said. It's me, Mary. The two Marys, there's nobody but me. I told you I was coming back. And look at me, Mary. All right? When you look at that part right there, when he said that, when he met him and told him all that good stuff. And what's so good about it, what did they do? They fell down and worshiped him. So what did that tell me? Anytime I need Worship God. What I need to do? I need to go down. If I go down, what goes up? My prayer goes up. So I need to go down. And then that it goes up because he's up there waiting on me. What did they do? They went down to worship. And they who's that? Worship Jesus. Look, remember, what did he do? He took 12 disciples. Remember how he washed your feet? Wash your feet. What that tell me? You got to be humble. When you be humble like Christ wants you to be, that's where you want to be. And you know, another thought came to my mind when I realized this here. He had no place to be born. Why was he born? In a manger. He had no place to be buried. Why was he buried? In another manger. Can you imagine it? The man got everything. He could have been born in a hospital if they had one. He could have been born in a best hotel. So why was he born? He could have the best grade. But what happened? He was bed alive. Nothing. Now, that can't be no humble. You can't be no humble for Christ did. That's just showing how humble we're supposed to be. We got to be humble like him. And then, read, what is that last one tell us about?
Then said Jesus unto them, Be not afraid. Go tell my brethren that they go into Galilee, and there shall they see me.
Go tell my brother. The men, they was gone. And told the two married, go tell my brother, don't be afraid to meet me in Galilee. Now, we know all that story about that. What happened there when he met? They certainly did. Remember when he met? Walking with them, they didn't go walking. What did they do? They invited them. Who did they invite to them? They invited, you know when they invited to them? He was met them on the roadside, talking to them, and they met him. When they met him, you know, for dinner, they sat there right there together, and they was talking to him. He came back. Now, after all that, how long did he stay with them? He stayed 40 days with them. Isn't that something? The man. But what did old Down Thomas do? What did he do? He didn't believe. What do we do today? We don't believe. We don't believe. The same thing happened today. It happened now. But what do we know? We know that they said, that John said, that God gave his only begotten what? Son. Why did he give his only begotten son? To take away our sins. Nobody thinks they're capable of doing it. Everybody they tried. If you go all the way back to Abraham, you always go back to Moses, you always go back to David. Nobody could do it. Because none was capable of doing it because they all had done something wrong. But this man right here, what he said? He did no wrong. I like the song last week. Remember? What happened? There was no time against him. He did nobody wrong, but yet he died for me. How do you know he died for me? Well, every time I have a headache, I think about those crown bones around his head. Every time you have a little feet, think about when they drive with me. Every time you have a little silence or something, what happened? They spilled what? Inside. Who did they spill inside? Who did they spill Jesus for? They spilled for us. Every time you think about that, every time somebody do you wrong, you think about they did him wrong. He had what? No fault. Did he have a fault? He had no fault. Did they lie on you? Don't they lie on you? Did he get them back? He didn't get them back. Do we get them back? We try to. That's what we do. But he did. He had no fault. So we're going to be like him. We got to do the same thing like he did. He suffered. Don't you suffer sometimes? The first thing you suffer. So, oh, Lord, have mercy. Who do you call on then? You call on the Lord. You want him to have mercy on you. So if you actually have mercy on you, why can't you have some mercy on somebody else? It's no different. If we want to be like Christ, we got to do the same thing that Christ did. I never thought about that thing. That's the day is resurrection. And we know that he died for our sin. There was none. When they looked around the throne, they found no one. No one. But what he told them, give me a what? Give me a body. If you give me a body, I'll go down and I'll save me. Who did that? Jesus did. Who did it? Nobody but Jesus. So when you look at this lesson, think about what we've been leading up to this week, that resurrection. It's not about the Easter eggs. It's not about that at all. It's not about the dog. It's all about who? All about Christ. No dog can save you. No egg can save you. He didn't ride in on the egg, remember what we said? You got to remember that. There was no egg at the table there. What was that? Some unleavened bread. And then there was wine. What was that for? That was for the blood, and that was for his body. So there was no egg right there. I had been about. So I just want to let you know, when we talk about Easter, we need to remember what it's all about. It's not about what people are. It's about the one that gave up his life for who? Us. He didn't have to do it. Every time you think about that, you always say, thank you, Lord, for doing it. Now, as we said that, anybody has something to say? Well, you have nothing to say. There, talk to it.
So,
We start changing within ourselves. You don't have to buy into what people say. We are going to be the light. If you are the light of this world, that means you're going to be different from the world. Can you tell a good person from a Christian person? You're supposed to, because we all have a light in us that shines in. Not sometimes, it shines in all the time. That's how it works. I don't have to accept what people do. When I know it's wrong, do I accept it? Have you heard people say, I give up life is wrong? Well, it tells you to do that. Man tells you that. Christ doesn't tell you that. Christ is for the what? You are right, which means you have to be righteous in order to be like him. When you start doing and being with the world, you're just like him. I can't tell you. I heard a person say, he walking on two people cursing. He can tell who's cursing, who's good, who's bad, because they both cursing. So, you got to find that middle ground. That's what you got to look at. Isn't that right? If you have two people arguing, you want to know who got sense. I'm looking around, who got sense? Neither one of them got sense. Don't be both out. So you have to stop yourself. And you stop. I'm not telling you what to do. I'll tell you what the Bible says, and you take that word. If we start doing what Christ said and not what man said, do you imagine how the world would be? But what do? We want to be like the world. One day we want to be like the world, and on this day we want to be like Christ. It doesn't work like that. When the storm comes, he said you want to be with Christ. But once the storm passes, you want to be who you say you want. All right. Now, anybody got something to say? I like it. All right. Now, since we come down to the end of this thing, the 3 lessons, I had 2 women. But I seen the other one with this because we had the 2 married. You remember the 2 married? So I thought that I was in with the 2 married. But since one of my married, she got hit. Oh, she got scared. But I do have one of my married him. And this married gonna sum us up. Mary, what you come? Why, Mary? Come on, Mary. She wasn't scared. This Mary. Look at this Mary. Come on, something, Mary. This Mary. I'm not talking about her. She did. I think it's somebody's name is Mary I had, but I'm not talking about her. She must get the one I asked. She's not here. She said, okay, one action's not here. I'm gonna get that clear because I don't think say, oh, no, she had a problem. Okay, come on, Mary, talk to her. She gonna sum this thing up.
good morning, you all. So my job is to sum up this unit. Well, the first 3 topics in the unit. So, unit 2 is liberating gospel. That means to set us free. Now, when thinking about this unit, or these 3 topics in this unit, it is chronicling 14 days leading up to the resurrection. So in topic 1, it is a leader with humility. And what humility means is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. You put other people before. And that's what Jesus did. The task, we had 2 disciples that were directed to go to the next village to retrieve a donkey and a colt and bring them to Jesus. Now, remember, we're talking about humility. That means lowly, keeping yourself low. So what this does is it explains how humble Jesus Christ was. The testament, the king coming in on a donkey, meek and lowly, was a sign of a prophecy of Zechariah becoming. They clothed the donkey to make Jesus come most possible. The triumph, a great multitude gathered, the crowd with garments and branches on the ground to make way for Jesus as he came in on a donkey, not a chariot, but a donkey. And unit 2, the unforgettable leader. So this is Palm Sunday, but this unit, this topic was dealing with Palm Sunday, which was 7 days before his resurrection. The preparing of the Passover. The festival of unleavened bread is the observance of the Passover. Jesus told the disciples that a certain man would wait for him, and that his time was near. The disciples did just what Jesus told them. The warning of the Passover. The Last Supper, Jesus revealed to one of the 12 that one of the 12 disciples would betray him. Each one pondered and asked, "Is it I?" Jesus explained it in his own way, exactly. The blessing after the Passover. Judas asked, "Master, is it I?" Knowing all the time to come. Nevertheless, Jesus took, blessed, and broke bread in each of them. "This is my body." He took a cup and told them to drink, eat all of it. This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for the remissions of sin. They sang songs and went to the Mount of Olives.
Now, with all that, you see my Mary, she's ready. Thank you, Mary. How she summed it up. I love you. With all that, I believe we got something else that we're going to do. Now, on this part right here, what did he do? He died, and then what? He rose. So I believe I'm going to let this person take you and John talk to him. I hear what happened here. Right. Sit like a rat. Right. Got up. Not only did he get up, he got up and said, "What? With our power." I wish you could have helped some there, but there you go. He rose, y'all. Remember how he rose. He rose. Then it says, "What?" How do you know he rose? How did because he rose in you because you are here. Did he get up? Did you get up this morning? Did he get up? I'm going to sit down because he rose.
I'm glad you said so. Let me end this one.